I love getting a great deal on a video game, and apparently many of you guys do as well, as there was a lot of support for my Xbox 360 $299 and under games. Many of those games are actually backwards compatible, where they're even playable on the Xbox One. So if you want to check that video out, if you haven't already, the link will be down in the description. But today we're going to talk about the best games under $9.99 for the Xbox One. Obviously, it's basically impossible to get a $3 Xbox One game, so we're going to use $10 as kind of the great deal point. Now, in the last video on the Xbox 360, many of those games were priced based on the GameStop prices, because you simply cannot get a game bought and shipped to you for $2.99. So I used the GameStop prices, and in a lot of ways, I'm going to use the GameStop prices for this video as well. Now, if you can buy the game for, $8, $9, $10 at GameStop, odds are you can get it for roughly the same price online, even with shipping included. Some of these games will deviate and will be from other sources besides GameStop, but just know that the majority of these games will be from GameStop, and I'm not endorsing the company in any way. In fact, I don't even buy many games there anymore myself. I prefer to try to buy them new or from a small game shop, but like I said, GameStop's just a great way to standardize the prices for this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, Metal Gear Solid 5. There's actually two games to Metal Gear Solid 5. There's Ground Zero and there's Phantom Pain, which are $7 and $10 respectively at GameStop. And I believe one or both of them have in the past been games with gold. You'll see that as a common trend that's impacting the fact that some of these games are less expensive. Regardless, this is a very critically acclaimed game. A lot of people love this game. Very well rated game, and it's something that I would recommend you checking out, though I have not played it firsthand. But here's one I have played firsthand, actually on release, Sunset Overdrive. You can pick this up at GameStop for only $7, which is a great deal. I absolutely love the art style in this game, the movement mechanics, the way you could slide on things. It kind of reminded me of Jet Set Radio, which is a game that I'm actually not that big of a fan of. I'd have to say I was a bigger fan of Sunset Overdrive. If you enjoy single player games, this is a fantastic one to pick up and get if you did not grab it games with gold a year or so ago. Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. I actually originally played a fan-made translation of this game on the PSP, and I've never played the console version. Regardless, Final Fantasy Type 0 HD is a game where you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I really wanted to love it because it had, live action combat. I think there's a particular word for that. I just don't know it. But it was not turn-based combat, and you got to have, a party of characters. You got to battle, and in a lot of ways, I just wanted it to be just like Kingdom Hearts. And of course, it's nothing like Kingdom Hearts besides the way the battles play out. Again, I've only played this on the PSP, and I do think that it almost seems like it was better suited for the small screen. Obviously, this is an HD remake. The graphics aren't going to be awful or something that's getting blown up on your TV, but it just feels like a game that belongs on a mobile platform. I don't know if it's the HUD, I don't know what it is, but when I see gameplay of the console version, I say I don't think that's something that I would want to play on my TV. But for the right person, if you enjoy JRPGs, this could be a good pickup for you. And then what I believe is one of the most underrated games of this console generation, Shadow Warrior. I talked about this game, I want to say back in 2014. I'll have that video linked below as well, because I have been, from day one. I think I bought this within the first week of it releasing. I think it was $40 at retail initially. Now you can get it at GameStop for $7. This game is fantastic. I don't mean in the sense that it plays super smooth. Yes, there are bugs. Yes, it is kind of a budget title, but it's a ton of fun to play. You add in the fact that the humor in this game is just hilarious. I absolutely love the characters. I've not gotten a chance to play the sequel yet, but the first game, Shadow Warrior, is amazing. And then I could not make this list without talking about one of the cheapest Xbox One games out there, and that is Assassin's Creed Unity. You buy this thing on CD keys, it's going to be consistently less than $2. I think when I made this video, I looked up, it was like $1.29 to buy a code to download the digital copy of Assassin's Creed Unity. Why is it so cheap? Well, it was bundled in with the Xbox One for quite a while, and I don't know if people just didn't want it. They sold off the codes. At launch, the game was really buggy. Obviously, that's been cleaned up. So if you're looking, to try out an Assassin's Creed game, you've never played one, this is the cheapest way to get into the series. Chronologically, it won't necessarily make sense, but I do think that you can, for the most part, play the Assassin's Creed games individually as a standalone experience rather than seeing it as the entire series as a whole. And obviously, for $1.29, there's really no way I think you can go wrong with Unity, even if you played it for a half an hour. Shadow of Mordor. You can pick this up at GameStop for $10. I actually played this on the Xbox 360, though I did not finish it because obviously the Xbox 360 copy, not nearly as great as the Xbox One copy, not nearly as polished. However, I have just completed Shadow of War, which is the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, and I can tell you that the Nemesis system that's in this game, which currently is unique to this game until it gets copied by the next Assassin's Creed game coming out in about 2 months, is amazing. You should buy Shadow of Mordor strictly for the Nemesis system. If you grew up playing Pokemon, this is like the Pokemon for adults. This is what you want to play if you're into, the sort of RPG upgrade your character's sort of element. Not just in the party sense that we talked about with Final Fantasy Type 0. This is like in the sense that these people are fighting side by side with you or fighting against enemies for you, and you don't have direct control over their actions. You just have control over building them up and recruiting more and more orcs to fight for you. It's a fantastic game, and I recommend you check it out. Dead Rising 3. This was actually the first game I owned for my Xbox One. Obviously, since it was a launch title, it may look a little bit dated. It's a pretty enjoyable game. Is it as good as, say the first Dead Rising or the second Dead Rising? Probably not, but it is better than the fourth. The fourth is a disaster. Don't buy the fourth Dead Rising game. But Dead Rising 3 here, it is a pretty good deal. It is an open world sort of zombie survival game. I didn't feel like that open world had too much depth to it. Didn't have that much that made me want to come back to it besides just playing the standard story. But for $10, I don't think you can really go wrong with Dead Rising 3. Battlefield 1, this is also $10 at GameStop, and it's been ran on sale periodically. I did hear that some of the DLC, if not all of it, is going to become free. I know some of it already is, so that's very exciting if you want to hop into Battlefield 1 late. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of people who want to get their, World War I first-person shooter fix in a game that's only a couple of years old and still has a fairly strong online community on the Xbox One. Destiny 2, which GameStop sells brand new copies for $10, and obviously there have been expansion packs, DLC, whatnot, added on. If you want to buy all that, it's going to cost you another $100 or something obscene. But for $10 for a new game, I just don't feel like you can go wrong with Destiny 2. And people will say, the story is only a few hours long, it's shallow and whatnot. But look, it's $10. If you really enjoy it, go out and buy, the expansion passes. Maybe you'll find out by, paying $10 playing the base game that it's something that you enjoy and you want to continue playing. Otherwise, what the heck? You bought a new game for $10. Every other game on this list is pre-owned with the exception of that digital copy of Assassin's Creed Unity. So this is a new game, and I think that that's a fantastic deal that you can find at GameStop. And then lastly, our only eBay pick, Titanfall 2. You can get this consistently on eBay for $8. There's a seller that sells literally thousands of copies of Titanfall 2 used for $8 with shipping. It's a great deal on what's really a great game. The interesting thing about Titanfall 2 versus Titanfall 1 is Titanfall 2, in case you didn't know, adds in a campaign. It's a campaign that a lot of people actually enjoyed, so that's fantastic. The multiplayer is great. The player base isn't all that large anymore, but I think there'll still be enough players that you will be able to find games and continue playing. You might not be able to get into a specific game mode, but if you just open it up and you say I want to play any game mode, I think you'll very easily be able to get into games on Titanfall 2. At least that's been my experience. So as long as you keep those search options open, I think you'll be able to get into a great multiplayer experience on Titanfall 2. So guys, like I said, unless otherwise noted, all these games are sold used at GameStop for $10 or less. There are a few of them that do come out into other, places, like I said, eBay on Titanfall 2. But regardless, you can find many of these online, on eBay, on Amazon, for probably under $10 if that's the price that GameStop is selling them at. None of these featured in this video were on sale, so depending on when you see this video, odds are the games only have gotten cheaper than $10 if they were $10 to begin with. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next one.